So you want to tell me what's going on or what happened today or what led to this?
What? No, I don't. I mean, I can tell you, but I need you to ask because then I can't tell you because I don't.
Right. Okay. So, obviously I got confirmation that you were pregnant, okay? Right.
I found that out yesterday.
At 18, a lot of children haven't had to face responsibility before. In most instances, they've had their parents there to help them through it, to absolve them from any real responsibility. They're just becoming adults and they have no idea how to handle the world around them, especially when something major occurs in their lives. Their first instinct is to run away from it when they're too scared to, or feel like they can't run to their parents to help get them out of the mess, usually of their own making. Teen pregnancy rates in the US have been steadily declining since 1991. As of 2020, the teenage pregnancy rate was 15.4. However, New Mexico has a very high rate of teenage pregnancy. In 2021, 24 out of every 1,000 teen girls in New Mexico gave birth. On a cold New Mexican night in January, a group of people made a terrifying discovery. As they were looking through a mall dumpster in search of salvageable garbage, they heard crying. The two men and one woman thought it was a cat or dog and removed the bag. What they found inside was much worse. A newborn baby boy with the umbilical cord still attached. The baby was wrapped in a towel and stuffed in a trash bag with other garbage, including water bottles and makeup wipes. The group called 911 and kept the baby warm until paramedics could arrive. An inhaler also found in the garbage bag, along with the license plate of the vehicle, led them straight to 18-year-old Alexis Avila. Police obtained surveillance footage from one of the nearby stores at the strip mall. It showed that at roughly 2 p.m., a white Volkswagen Jetta pulled into the parking lot and stopped in front of the dumpsters. A woman got out and grabbed a black bag from the back seat. She tossed the bag into the dumpster and then drove off. The baby was in the dumpster for around 6 hours. Alexis claimed that she had no idea she was pregnant until the day before she gave birth. According to Alexis, after dealing with back pain for a few months, she went to the ER and they said she had a type of sprain. They gave her medication, and when that didn't help, she went to the clinic. After a urine sample, she tested positive for pregnancy.
Alright. So, as I mentioned to you before anything, I like to speak, with the truth. Obviously, okay? I spoke to some people, and I know that back in March, is when you spoke to some people and you told them that you were pregnant. So you had prior knowledge, all right? So I'm not gonna...
Back in March?
Right.
This is around the time that Alexis's story begins to crack. The detective begins to pick up on her lying to try and get out of the mess she's in. After all, how could someone not realize that they're pregnant until they've given birth? What about the contractions during labor? What did Alexis think? That she was constipated? Towards the end of her interrogation, after some pushing from the detective, Alexis admitted that she knew she was pregnant back in August, but she didn't know, saying that she took 2 pregnancy tests. One was positive and one was negative, so she paid attention to the negative one as an example of confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is a type of cognitive bias in which a person searches for or interprets information to confirm their own wants or beliefs. In Alexis's case, she wasn't prepared or ready to acknowledge that she was pregnant, so she simply chose to say that she wasn't in a type of denial. It wasn't until the day before the birth of baby Avila that she got confirmation of the baby through an ultrasound at the clinic. She claims that she had no other symptoms of pregnancy. She had her menstrual period every month. She claims that she gained no weight or felt any movement from the child.
So obviously you gave birth to a child.
Right.
I'm trying to find out where it happened, how it happened, or what led to that and stuff like that.
I went to sleep and then I woke up and I went to the restroom and I was just trying, and then it came out and I thought it was poop, and then it...
When fear sets in, it interrupts the processes in our brain that allow us to regulate our emotions, reflect before acting, and make ethical and moral decisions. It leaves us susceptible to impulsive and rash decision-making. Fear can immobilize a person, and instead of thinking things through, they just act. Throughout the interview with Alexis, she repeatedly tells the detective just how scared she was, how she panicked and wasn't sure what to do. She was scared her mother would hate her for getting pregnant because she just turned 18. It's reasonable to be panicked about a situation, but Alex's actions that followed are anything but reasonable. They're the act of someone trying to escape responsibility.
Okay, what happened after that?
I was in a panic. I didn't know what to do.
Okay.
I was scared.
Okay. What did you do after?
I cleaned myself, and I just left it where it was, and I was scared, and I was trying to call my mom, but I couldn't because I was so scared. I think she's gonna hate me.
During their investigation, police found blood on the bathroom floor, bloodied towels, and soiled clothes from Alexis. No one else in the house was home when it happened, and she states that despite talking to her family later that night, they had no idea what happened in the bathroom.
What did you do after the fact?
What do you mean?
What happened? I mean, obviously...
Like, I was just cleaning. I was scared. I didn't know what to do.
Okay.
And I just wrapped it in a towel.
Okay. Did you ever thought of contacting, an ambulance, a fire department, go out there and check you out?
I didn't do it. I was scared. I didn't know what to do.
Throughout the interview, Alexis speaks in a softer voice, as if she's trying to appear more innocent. It's common for women to do this when they're in trouble, because people are less likely to see a little girl as someone capable of committing a cold, evil act. Every time the detective leaves the room, she asks if her mum can come in or if she can see her mother, which appears to be another tactic to make herself seem innocent and younger than she is. She gets emotional at times when speaking about her actions, but it never lasts long. She's not in tears. She doesn't even seem shocked at her actions. She just keeps repeatedly stating that she was scared.
Okay, so what was your next act? What else did you do after that?
I just left and I drove around and I just put it to where I put it.
Okay. Where are we talking about? Put it where? I mean, obviously I know where you went and you didn't put...
Right, like, I had the trash bag in the car.
Okay.
If you couldn't tell, the car is messy.
Mm-hmm.
But I put it...
So...
And then I put it in the bag. I took it to the car. When I was in the car, I had 2 trash bags.
Okay.
I took one with me, which is the one that I had, and then I put it again, and then I drove around and I didn't know what to do, and I just put it in there.
Okay. Where did you go?
What do you mean?
Where did you drive to?
JCPenney's.
Prosecutors argued that Alexis purposely dumped the infant, knowing what the results of her actions could result in. She put the baby in 2 trash bags, tying the bags closed with a hair tie. If that group of people hadn't been looking through the dumpster that day, baby Avila would have died. She could have taken the child to one of the safe haven locations in New Mexico. Each state has a safe haven law. The safe haven law in New Mexico states that up to 90 days after giving birth, you can drop your child off at a hospital, law enforcement agency, or fire department, and you will not be charged with criminal abandonment of the child.
What do you think would have happened?
What do you mean?
So what do you think would have happened? You never notified law enforcement, you never called for EMS, you never...
I didn't, I'm still in...
What do you think was going to happen?
I don't know.
You don't know what would have happened?
Well, I mean, obviously I know, but... And I'm in a panic. There's a baby in front of me.
During her trial, Alexis's public defender, Ibukun Adepoyu, defended her by claiming her actions were the result of undiagnosed bipolar disorder and that she had been dissociating throughout her actions. During her interrogation, Alexis often refers to the baby as it, which shows her distancing herself from the child. Dissociation is a break in how your mind processes information. During a dissociative episode, a person can disconnect from their thoughts, feelings, or memories. Dissociation isn't often associated with bipolar disorder, although many people with bipolar claim to suffer from dissociative states. The research connecting the two is still in its infancy.
Did you just think you would be better off without a child because you're too young?
No, Wait. Sorry, go backtrack. What do you mean?
I'm trying to reason as far as
what is in my head? Or like what?
I'm trying to reason your actions. That's what I'm trying to find out.
Oh.
Yeah, a reason behind your actions.
I knew I was too young, but I knew I would be able to do, like, I'm about to graduate school. School's not my worry. I have a stable job. Money's not a worry for me.
Okay.
So I would be able to, I if the baby's okay, I want it.
Okay. And what if I told you the baby was dead? What would change then?
Nothing.
When speaking at her trial, Alexis showed remorse, saying, "I regret that his first hours of life were traumatic, and I regret that he will always have this in the back of his head, and will think that I do not love him because that's what he'll read and hear. But that's not true at all. I do love him. I truly do. In life, there are consequences for every decision we make. Every choice will somehow affect your future, big or small. It doesn't matter." For Alexis Avila, the consequences of her actions on January 7th were being charged with attempted first-degree murder and child abuse. She was found guilty.
Finding that this was a heinous crime. To toss one's own child into a dumpster like trash is something that it is an unforgivable event by any mother. Your child, I do agree, was very vulnerable, but for the grace of God and the happenstance of the 3 dumpster divers that found your child, we certainly would be here sentence you on a murder case as opposed to where you are. It's a miracle that in the cold weather of that night that your child survived. I do find that leaving the child in the dumpster and having hours to think about what you did indicates that it was a crime that you had an opportunity to correct after you thought about what you had done, but you did nothing. The resulting harm to your child, yes, I agree, there was a high probability of death, almost certain death.
However, Alexis was granted a bit of leniency, a combination of time served, 475 days, 2 years taken off for her mental illness diagnosis and her age at the time of the crime, and 2 years parole, resulted in a prison sentence of only 14 years. She'll be 34 years old when she gets out. She wants to be a part of her child's life and asked for visitation, which she was denied. Her parents are hopeful to one day have a part in their grandchild's life. The baby, now named Saul, is in the care of his teenage father, Stephen Astorga, who had this to say: "My son, my healthy, my loving and handsome baby boy, he is never going to forget the things that you did. But for that, I can say that my son will be somebody one day, no matter how much he has been through."